Hello everyone, my name is Christian and I just wanted to show you some of the features that we have now for the release 6.1 of Qt for Python, and this will be mainly focused on a commercial tool that we have been working since some time now. If you have been following the project, you know that we used to have a simple C++ project called sample banding. If we go to the sample binding, maybe you remember there was even a blog post about it. It was a really simple example of a truck that sells ice cream, and we wanted to expose how easy it was to use and generate bindings with Shiboken. But this process was including some extra, some boilerplate code that most of you didn't have like the knowledge of the experience to write right away. So we usually were relying on checking the old files, the other examples and everything. So we wanted to make this process a little bit easier. So if you don't remember, the main aspects of this library was to have some C++ files. Then we generate something that was related to the type system. So it was an XML file and some dependencies on the CMake file. But let's forget a little bit of the whole configuration there. I want to put you in this simple scenario. We have any C++ library, and here it will be based on the same example, but everything was a bit modified in the sense of like the only things that I want to do is to create a shared library, because I am in Linux, based on these two C++ files. So what we can do is that we can easily, use this simplistic CMake file, and then we create our shared library, right? So the idea now will be that we would like to use this thing into the binary generation process, because of course, since this is a C++ code, we want to expose it to the Python world, and with some Python bindings with Shiboken. So the tools that I wanted to show you today, it's called Shiboken Wizard. As I said in the beginning, this has been mainly done for commercial users with the AD license, but let's not talk about these formalities now, and let's focus on the tool. So the structure should be quite familiar. We try to be inspired by the Qt creator, so you will find these tabs here on the side, some information here mainly for adding information about the bindings. So the first thing that we want to do is to give our project a name, right? Then you saw that we already generated the shared library. We go, where was it? We was in the examples there, and then it was test sample build shared library there. The output directory, we will create one new, we'll call it bindings. And then we have some Shiboken options. We will leave everything as default. Since it's a C++ project, we will not include any related to Qt. And to add something, since we have two headers there, we will just add one header that mainly includes the two of them. So if you want to go back to the code, I can show you right away that the bindings file that I was trying to use, the bindings file there, it just includes the two other headers. So let's go back to our tool, right? So we go back to the tool. We know that this is the header that includes the two of them. Let's have also here the path to the example that we want to do. And now we will scan for classes. Scanning this, we notice that we have ice cream and truck, which are the main one, and other two one that comes from inheriting and everything else from C++. These are the main objects and the classes that we found. Of course, the initial types system contains a lot of things, and many of those will not be included because we know that there are some noise. So based on these two classes, we would like to generate something here. I know for a fact that these detected types are fine. If you see, we have there the ice cream and truck, but I do know that we also use Boolean and strings. So I will click on the edit button there, and I will go back to my terminal. It was opened, and I will write here and copy this line for bool, and also I know for a fact there is string there. I will save this and then go back here And I know that the CMake, of course, I don't want to read everything, so I will just blindly trust this and build. And it builds. Okay, fair enough. We see some anonymous struct there, here and there, but nothing really too serious, and all the rejected things that Shiboken has. So let's focus now on what we have generated there here. This is the output directory that we had. This is the type system that you saw here, the one that I had. And also we have the big CMake there that was generated for our library, but inside build, we get the shared library. So what that does mean is that now we are able to import that, which is the original example, right? So it's quite cool. We already have the two classes that we had there automatically generated. But there is a caveat here. So if we go out here and we copy the example that we wanted to have, which is the main thing that we use from the sample binding example, we get a segmentation fault. Why we get a segmentation fault? Because we know that we have some special conditions for constructors and everything, and we didn't change that. So we still will require, of course, some manual intervention here. And because, of course, there are many special cases that Shiboken cannot handle directly by hand. So this is the original type system that we have. We will not lose some time here showing what's going on, but I will just copy them over. Mainly, the idea here is to have some specific ownership when we have the function clone, and also the same thing when we are adding the ice cream flavor. Okay, so we rely on this thing. So we have now here the modifications in place. Let me reduce the font there. I just copy these aspects there, and we can go back to the build directory and we just recompile everything again. And now if I execute it, the program exits normally and everything is working right away. So just to recap, if we go back, the whole point of this was to use your compiled shared library to specify, of course, where you want to output everything. We added some features here to detect the classes that you would like to generate, the output directory, and then you can evaluate everything that you will be doing here, like the CMake and everything else. So we really hope that for this release, we can manage to find some feedback from you. And hopefully we can make this tool way better than it is at the moment. So hopefully you enjoy the Shiboken Wizard technical preview in 6.1. And yeah, that will be it. Thanks.